Under the watchful gaze of our founding fathers, round 7 of Red Bull Global Rallycross charges into our nation's capital. Ken Block remains atop the championship standings, but his penalty in Detroit has opened the door, and several challengers lurk close behind. Still looking for his first win of 2015, Scott Speed has lived up to his name, posting the quickest lap in qualifying. Who will conquer this fast, demanding and tenacious racetrack? This is Red Bull Global Rallycross Washington DC, presented by Volkswagen. Season around. We're in the parking lot for the RFK Stadium. My name is Toby Moody, Townsend Bell alongside me. Townsend, this is no longer a parking lot. This has got some this afternoon. What can Ken Block do, remaining as the championship leader ahead of the rookie Ericsson in second place? And then third place is now going to be Austin Dine ahead of the reigning champion Joni Wiemans. The first of our two heats has already taken place here today in downtown DC. The first start got underway with Tanner Faust leading into the first corner, just getting ahead of Jeff Ward. However,
well, Tanner Faust shoots out of a cannon there, but Jeff Ward comes back hard. The two touch, big contact, and the left front of Tanner Faust will pay the price. He cuts a tire down there, and it starts to come apart, as we see here, just utterly destroys the left front.
That was a great shame for the pair of them, but it left the door wide open for the reigning Red Bull Global Rallycross champion from Finland, Joni Wiemans, to take victory in the first of our two heats here today. In the second heat, we had even more drama, because at the end of the first lap, after taking the joker, Ken Block and Ericsson came together.
And this heat was just a slugfest. Look at this, on board with Ericsson, just flat out drills Ken Block. I'm sure Ken had no idea Ericsson was there, but the damage will continue. Now this is Sandell. Big hit into the side of Ken Block, but Sandell spins himself out, and that brings out a red flag.
So, this is the replay. Sandell just goes into the side of Block, and Sandell paid the price for his mistake by spinning out of the race.
So now we re-rack, full restart. 3 laps to go, and PK and Speed are side by side going to the first corner, and Ken Block moves to third place. Now these guys are going to battle it out here on the first lap, and look at this. They come to the jump 3 wide with Ken Block absolutely crossed up. Awesome footage there. Ken hangs on.
And then into the very final corner, Block left a little bit of a gap. PK took it, and it damaged Block's suspension or his steering. He was in trouble, and he slid across the line in third position as the race was taken by PK Jr. ahead of Sandell.
Now that's for a heat race, Toby. What's going to happen when we get to just the semi-final?
Or even the final? Well, PK Jr. was pretty cool, but Ken Block was absolutely raging after that, coming together. If you think the heats have been hot, what about the semis and the final? Welcome back here to round 7 of our 12-round 2015 championship for Red Bull Global Rallycross. No time for sightseeing in front of the White House. The boys are working hard here in the paddock as they prepare for once more another warm day. Not a scorching hot day, but a warm day. Temperature 88 degrees, humidity a very acceptable 44 degrees, but it'll still be very warm indeed inside our Global Rallycross supercars. We've got a lot of people coming to see the action today, and this is how the action is going to pan out. So we're going to have 2 semi-finals. Top 3 will automatically advance to the final. We've got a last chance qualifier, 4 of which will go to the final, and then the final will be over 8 laps made up of 10 cars, and at least once the drivers must take the Cobalt Tools Joker lap per race. Now this circuit is very, very quick. Let's have a look at it with Townsend Bell.
Well, Toby, we're right here between RFK Stadium and the Anacostia River. It starts down there at the Royal Purple starting grid, 10 turns in total, and it's super quick through turns 1, 2, and 3. In fact, braking for turn 4. The asphalt's super bumpy. Now, if you get penalized, it's going to be drivers left out of turn 4 there in the penalty box for a jump start or rough driving, and then we just haul it down to turn 6, heavy braking. Come out of that left-hander, you're going to hit the jump. It's a technical jump. You land on gravel, accelerate down to turn 8, which is super quick as well. Got to be careful at the exit on the concrete wall. And then your Cobalt Tools Joker lap is that yellow shortcut. You've got to take that once per race and only once per race, and that takes you to the end, turn 9, turn 10, and back to start-finish.
Tremendous to see the cars race around this racetrack as we now line up with the first of our semi-finals. Tanner Faust, Patrick Sandell, Joni Wiemann on the front row with Pat Morrow, Sebastian Eriksson, and Austin Dine with his number 14. He's got a new colour scheme here this weekend as the pole cam looks down on the final corner and then onto the starting grid. There you see Joni Wiemann closest to us, and we've got 3 on board. Austin Dine at the top of your screen, his big wide eyes piercing through the darkness inside his Ford. Then Patrick Sandell, it's all black and white in there, and then Sebastian Eriksson, the Swede on the right-hand side, preparing.
Now, 4 of the 6 had massive contact in the heat race, so we've got all the misfits here going to go for it. Let's see what happens in the first corner.
Okay, the first of our semi-finals. I remind you that the top 3 at the line will automatically advance to the final. Wait for the green. We're underway with Austin Dine as he concentrates to try and pierce his way through the order. Leading, though, is Patrick Sandell from Joni Wiemann, from Tanner Faust, from Eriksson, from Dine, and then Pat Morrow as they steam around the first couple of corners.
Oh! Austin Dine gets heavy into the back of Eriksson. Big hit to the right rear. The tires are in the middle of the track. That could be a red flag.
Oh, they'll have to just go further. Nice defensive line being made there by Patrick Sandell. Wiemann still in second place as they come up to the jump and the gravel for the very first time. Will our cameras survive with those stones clattering in front of it as they rattle through? Now the Cobalt Tools Joker lap has been taken already by Sandell and Joni Wiemann.
And you can track the Jokers across the top of the screen again. Sandell looks to be on a good pace here. Wiemann is trying not to let him get away. If Sandell gets clean air and a clean track, he is very hard to track down.
Okay, well, the tires are in the middle of this corner, so they're going to have to change their line somewhat, but at least they got quite a while before they turn into the corner that they can see the tires are there.
And there's Austin Dine makes a pass on Eriksson. Now, that was a waving yellow, so I'm not sure if passing is going to be deemed to be banned in a waving yellow corner like that. But Austin Dine now checking out, going to go try to catch the leaders. These 2 guys still have the Joker available, along with Tanner Faust.
You have to take off. Oh, big jump there from Eriksson. You have to take off and go a little bit right when you go over the jump. As Austin Dine with that new livery.
Oh, and you can see, Toby, sorry, the left rear of Eriksson is totally out of shape. The left rear toe link is broken, and so Eriksson's trying to survive. He's done that before. He did it at Daytona earlier this year. Look at the left rear.
He's got a flat. Yeah, total flat. And this is really going to hurt him around this corner. The tire's going to come off and then come back on again. But there's no air in it. The bead is struggling to try and keep on to the inside of the rim. But there is our leader, Patrick Sandell. Well, Sandell winning last time out in Detroit, the second race there.
And here goes Tanner Faust taking the Joker.
So look for Faust with the yellow VW Beetle. Is he going to slot into second place? Yes, he does. He leaps ahead of Joni Wiemann there. So the leading 3 have all taken the Joker lap.
So Tanner Faust in a strong second, and that Volkswagen Beetle is so quick around this circuit, but not if you're sliding the car that much. That's a little too much rotation. You're going to overheat the tires, and going sideways here is not fast. You've got to keep it clean.
We're hearing from the stewards that no action will be taken after that first lap contretemps and coming together into the left-hander. So we've got a clean race from here to the flag. Over the dirt again. On board with Austin Dine.
And Austin has not jokered yet. We could see it here. There's 3 laps to go. He'll be waiting on instructions from his spotter. And Austin still stays out there. Doesn't take the Joker that lap. He'll have to do it in the next 2.
Coming down to this final left-hander, very, very quick there indeed. As he scrubs the speed, turns the car, slides it all the way around, great four-wheel drift there from Austin Dine. Last lap just a little bit quicker by 0.6 of a second than his previous lap as he rattles around this right-hander and then into this left. So Dine, fourth position for him. If he can get ahead of Zeman in front of him, he's automatically in the final. A lot of work to do.
Well, that's what it's all about, is transferring to that final so you don't have to race and use yourself up, or more importantly, your car in that LCQ. Let's see if Austin goes for the Joker here.
Is he going to go right? No, not quite here. He's got it up his sleeve, literally that card up his sleeve.
And it really doesn't make sense to take it until he closes the gap a little bit further on Weeman. I think he's close enough as he comes to the white flag, so for sure he'll take the Joker here. But what Dine needs to do is do everything he can to close by hundredths of a second here on Weeman, which he's doing. It looks like he's getting closer. If he can close that gap, then that Joker will be the easiest way to get by.
Down to second gear, yanks the handbrake, thinks about another gear, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. Oh, he was in first gear around that corner, so now he's in sixth gear. They were second in practice, that's what fooled me, but Austin Dine's got to concentrate now on the Joker lap. He's going to go to the right of the fork. Here we go, through the muck, here we go, and he's going to overtake, is he? Joni Veeman in front of him, look on the right-hand side, and he's just got ahead of him, so he's up into third position. One more corner to go, and Austin Dine is going to advance.
Brilliant job from Austin Dine. Stayed focused, closed the gap, and the Joker pays off.
Patrick Sandell victorious in that semi-final, ahead of Tanner Faust by 1.3 seconds, and then Austin Dine getting that all-important third position, and those great big starey eyes by the very calm Austin Dine. It's amazing how he can transfer his very cool and quiet personality into such brilliant aggression that Townsend has put him third in the championship at the moment.
Yeah, the eyes are big and intense, but there's a smile behind that chin.
Patrick Sandell, Tanner Faust and Austin Dine confirmed as advancing to the final here in Washington, D.C. Veeman, Morrow and Ericsson, they are going to be in the LCQ. Always a bit of a laugh, those two, but on the front row for this semi-final, Ken Block, Logan Gomez. Then Nelson Piquet Jr. Row 2 is Scott Speed, Jeff Ward and Steve Arpin. Jeff Ward drove for the first time at Daytona earlier this season and finished third in the final, only to get bumped to fourth after a bit of a misdemeanor earlier in the race.
Yeah.
He's an absolute star here this weekend.
Oh, he's a rocket ship. He was so quick at Daytona too, and he's really demonstrated outstanding pace. In fact, the only guy that's marginally quicker has been Scott Speed, as we're on board with PK, Speed, and Ken Block. All three of these guys have a chance to win this semifinal round.
Absolutely. Ken Block had a bit of drama in the opening heat about an hour and a half ago as he makes sure his Hoonigan Racing Ford is in first gear. He's holding the lever of fever there, holding the handbrake. He'll start to ease the clutch in, 650 horsepower, loading the car up, and he'll let the handbrake go when we're underway. And Jeff Ward is left sitting there like a duck. So it's going to be Piquet Jr. from Steve Arpin, from Logan Gomez. Ken Block trying to go around the outside in third position. Scott Speed got all of the work to do.
And Scott Speed's going to go for the rim shot on Gomez as Block and Arpin come together, the battle for second place. And watch Ken Block here, that M Sport Ford versus M Sport Ford down the straight. Block has the advantage.
He does, he has the inside line. It's going to be a hard move. He rides up the side of Steve Arpin's orange Ford Fiesta, but now we've got Block into second position. Massive jump there by Piquet Jr. as they battle their way through the dust, and the Cobalt Tools Joker lap being taken by Piquet, by Block and by Arpin for the first time of asking.
And the visibility was so difficult for Block and Arpin there that I think they had to soft pedal it just a bit on the Joker. That's going to help Scott Speed if Speed can close the gap. He certainly has the pace to close up on Arpin. Let's see if he can get close enough to take that Joker. Back on board with Block.
On board with Block, he had his championship lead halved at Detroit, winning in front of Henry Ford III at the first round, and then getting put to the back of the grid on the second round the day after. But the driving of Ken Block is not really a tarmac specialist. He said, I like the dirt a lot more, and this is the dirt. There it was, it's gone. A lot of work to be done by Speed here.
lot of work, but he made up a nice gap there. It was about 1.5, 2 seconds on the previous lap, but I think it's down close to a second. We'll find out as they come across the timing line here. As you see Speed work that double apex, square things off, and now this is really, I think, the best part of the track. Super bumpy through here. Watch that suspension work heavily as they brake here for turn 4. That gap now is down to about a second and a half.
Now the Cobalt Tools Joker lap saves the drivers about a second and a half. He will probably get ahead of Arpin, probably get into the area where Ken Block is in second. Can't see him leading the race at the moment.
Now watch Scott Speed over the jump. He has just been brilliant. He flies higher, farther, and faster than anybody else in the field. And that's based on his confidence in knowing his jumping distance. If he overjumps, he will destroy the car, but he nails it perfectly every time. And there you see the lap times. That last lap, 4/10 faster than the first lap. I believe this one will be even quicker.
Well, the Volkswagen technical gurus are over here in Washington, D.C. from Wolfsburg in Germany. It takes 5 German guys from HQ to even start the car. It is so advanced, it is so technical. They keep it very secret once the hood is lifted, and it really shows with the sheer speed that we saw Speed have in qualifying yesterday when he was quickest.
All the top dogs from Andretti Volkswagen, including Michael Andretti, who I know has just fallen in love with this series. I mean, it's such great hand-to-hand combat in Red Bull GRC, and it is explosive to watch these cars come off the line and work their way around the track. No Joker that time for Speed, so it'll be 2 laps to go with the line, and he'll have to choose. Do I wait till the end? And if I'm Scott Speed, I think you have to. I don't think he's closed the gap enough.
Well, Scott Speed still hunting for a victory in this year's championship. He won at X Games, he won a gold medal there, but that's not part of this year's Red Bull Global Rallycross Championship itself, as once more we ride on board with Scott Speed. Down the gearbox, all the way down the gearbox for the left-hander, and then up 2 gears, over the jump, and then landing down hard. The gap just a little bit closer to Steve Arpin in front of him. So
and look at Arpin. Arpin is right there on block. And they had contact, remember, on the first lap, so I wonder if Arpin's going to just play it cool for the transfer spot, or if he wants more.
Ken Block, second place. 1 more lap to go, very wide. Is that a bit of tire degradation coming into play? These tires getting an absolute thrashing around this circuit. And Steve Arpin just cuts the corner.
Brilliant, why not? I don't think there's any rule against using every available inch of the road there. So Arpin has closed up the gap on block. Now this helps Scott Speed close a little bit. And now we're going to get to see if Speed can pull it off. He's the best over the jump. Watch Speed here. Look at that, flies just brilliantly. Gonna go straight ahead through the water on the Cobalt Tools Joker, and can he make the gap up? It's gonna be close, no.
Oh, not quite, he's closer to Steve Arpin. He might have a quicker exit, but not quite as we ride back on board with Scott Speed, still 4th position as the checkered flag is unfurled and shown to PK Jr., who wins the semi-final ahead of Ken Block by 1.4 seconds. Steve Arpin getting a guaranteed spot in the final with a 3rd place there.
Now, one thing I just heard from race control, Toby, they are looking at Steve Arpin potentially shortcutting that course. I thought it was a pretty artistic move. I'm going to call that creative license.
Absolutely. Well, there are no trees in the way, so why not? But, yeah, let's see what race control say about that. Let's have confirmation that PK Jr., Block and Arpin cross the line like that. Will Arpin automatically advance to the final? Let's wait and see what the stewards here at GRC say about it. But at the moment, Speed Gomez and Jeff Ward, and what the Andretti organisation doesn't know about a motorsport isn't worth knowing at all. Now let's have a look at the royal purple grid for our LCQ. Logan Gomez with Yoni Weeman and Scott Speed, then Sebastian Eriksson, Jeff Ward and Pat Morrow. So for the Oldsberg's MSE cars, both Weeman and Eriksson are in this LCQ. They've got a big fight on their hands.
And I'll be watching Jeff Ward there in the 2nd row in that 360 fly car. He's been really the quickest or 2nd quickest all weekend as we're on board with Scott Speed. And Speed will just be looking for a clean start, stay out of trouble, no contact.
top 4 will automatically then go through to the back end of the grid for the final. Here is Sebastian Eriksson. He is already a winner from this year as a rookie. He won in the second Daytona race. He's second in the championship at the moment. So really you could argue that this LCQ is as important for Eriksson as it is for Speed to just even get through and get on to the grid for the final. Wait for the greens, we're underway! Everybody gets away this time. Leading, it's going to be Speed. Logan Gomez sticking around, going around the outside. He's going to have the inside line for the right-hander. He gets his nose taken off. Here goes Jeff Ward around the outside, up to second position. No, not quite. Slotting into third.
Ward had a chance to shove it in there, but he opted to play it safe, protect his car. He's now side by side with Logan Gomez in the Royal Purple car.
Steaming past the Royal Purple car, and Eriksson is coming with him. Will he hold the inside line over the curbs there? We're riding on board with Eriksson as we come over the jump and fly. Crashing down hard onto the dirt. Who is going to take the Joker lap for the first time? It's going to be Speed together with, I think that's Veman. Yes, it is.
Speed, Weeman, and Gomez all take the Joker, so Jeff Ward still has it in the bag. And we'll see if he can close the gap and use that strategically, as we've seen already in the preliminary heat. Scott Speed out in front, clean air, clean track, and we'll see if he can put the VW Beetle to good use and pull away.
Now, there's been a little bit of breakup with the asphalt underneath these guys, particularly through the quick right-hander after the finish line. They've been patching it up in the gap as Jeff Ward comes through to third position ahead of Logan Gomez.
Now Ward has the clean track that he needs to try and close the gap. He only has 2.5 laps remaining, but he's in a transfer spot right now as Eriksson goes for the Joker. This will be close with Ward.
He goes from 5th to 3rd position to Sebastian Eriksson as we ride aboard with the Swede. Great cornering through here. The track was breaking up just a little bit there, but the grip that these cars have through here is quite exceptional as they then charge down to this tight hairpin, this left-hander, before they build speed to up to 130 miles an hour down this back section.
And what a great run for Logan Gomez. He's right there with some of the fastest guys in the sport. This is his first race in Red Bull GRC. He literally got the call about a week ago to show up, no practice, and jump in that Royal Purple car, and he's hanging in there. With a little bit of extra effort and muscle, he might find himself in the main event. Jeff Ward takes the Joker.
Joker for Ward on the left-hand side. First, second, third, he's going to slot into. Yes, so Ward has got his eyes on the back of the final grid. In third for him at the moment. I remind you, top 4 will go through.
Nobody has as many races under his belt as Jeff Ward in this field. He is so experienced as they take the white flag. Just by watching him back out of that potential contact situation on the start, you just know that he's saving his car for the final, and he's going to unleash the beast and put it all on the line there. Now he's going to the outside of Weeman, just testing the grip. He's accumulating all the knowledge that he's going to need for that final. I just love watching this guy race. So experienced, he's such a pro.
Total pro. As still leading is Scott Speed. He's got an advantage of 2.2 seconds with his Beetle there ahead of the Ford Fiesta gaggle of Veman, Ward and Eriksson.
And I don't think Weeman's fast enough for Jeff Ward to be that conservative as they come to the checkered flag. I think Ward realized, I better get going. I don't want to lose that transfer spot. So it's Scott Speed with the win. Weeman second, Ward third, and Eriksson taking that final transfer spot in fourth.
So unfortunately, Gomez and Pat Morrow, not going through to the final, but a great round of applause for Logan Gomez from those in the paddock. No practice. These cars not easy to drive straight off, are they? As Scott Speed, Veman, Ward and Eriksson now confirmed as advancing to our 10-car, 8-lap final. Tire degradation coming into play, heat coming into play. Reliant have filled out the stands around this mile-long course as we look at our Royal Purple grid. On the front row, Tanner Faust from Sandell from Nelson Piquet Jr. Row 2 is Austin Dine from Steve Arpin from Ken Block, the championship leader at the moment. A lot of work to be done by Block there, but can some people win their very first GRC race, like Nelson Piquet Jr., for example? Then we look at row 3, Jeff Ward, Joni Veman, Scott Speed and Sebastian Eriksson. All of those 4 guys have got an awful lot of work to do. Now, Will is down there on the grid. She's surrounded by 6.5, maybe even 7,000 horsepower.
Yes, I am. And Nelson Piquet Jr. in pole position here for the first time in a final in the 2015 season. He's cool, calm, and collected, as you saw earlier when he was talking to Kristen. Patrick Sandell says he's exactly where he wants to be. It actually shouldn't be in that second position. Of course, Tanner Faust, the very fast Beetle on the far side there. Ken Block is in striking distance, so we've got to keep our eye on him. But I think really all eyes are going to be on this extremely hot front row and the very, very crucial start.
It is going to be very crucial, but it's a great run down to the first corner. For me, it might be the day that Nelson Piquet Jr. breaks his duck for getting a GRC win, Townsend.
Well, he certainly showed every bit of potential to pull that off today, but don't forget the last row, guys. Your fastest two drivers in row 3, Scott Speed and Jeff Ward, they've posted the quickest lap time so far this weekend. If there's any chaos up front, they're ready to pounce.
They certainly are, and there's the view from the rear of the grid with the Swede, Ericsson. Winner from Daytona. He's got a lot of work to do as the revs are now beginning to rise. Look at that. 6,500, maybe 7,000 horsepower about to be unleashed with a thunderstorm of horsepower. We're underway in Washington, D.C. On the right-hand side, Nelson Piquet Jr. trying to squeeze Sandell. Tanner Faust with the yellow Beetle. He's got a nice tight line. Steve Arpin trying to go around the outside. Ken Block trying to follow him as they come down to the hairpin for the first time. It's going to be Piquet Jr. who leads.
Oh, and look at Tanner Faust just throws the thing wide, loses a position. He's going to be side by side with Arpin. Now Tanner Faust is in third, and it's Piquet with a very, very clear lead going into the hairpin.
They come down to the far hairpin, braking from 130 mile an hour all the way down to about 40 miles an hour. Now they take the jump for the first time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sideways goes Ken Block as he comes back down to planet Earth, and Block has taken the Joker together with Piquet, together with Sandell, who's ducking, diving, darting, and weaving to try and find a way past.
But it was Tanner Faust and Steve Arpin that stayed the long way around, so they have the Joker in the bag. You can follow that across the top of your screen again as we're on board here with Sandell, working hard to make a move on Piquet.
Nelson Piquet Jr. slides a little bit further wide out of the exit of that corner. We ride on board with Ken Block. He's in third position with the Hoonigan Racing Ford, chasing the Brian Herter Ford in front of him of Patrick Sandell, winner last time out in Detroit. Over the jump again we go, riding on board with Block.
And I was just going to say, that jump is so technical as now Steve Arpin's taking the Joker. Let's see where he comes out. Just behind Ken Block, but let's see if he gives him a little bump and run. Bumper to bumper, he gives him a nudge. Does he touch him again? Let's watch here, he is right there.
Now Steve Arpin was saying to us earlier down there in the garage that he had a little bit of a trick up his sleeve for the final. Let's see what is up Steve Arpin's sleeve. Yeah, ditch hooking. Wheels well and truly over the curb there.
And he's got a nice run here on Ken Block, but Ken Block gets down the straightaway so well. And now that's allowed Tanner to close even more to Arpin. And again, Tanner has not taken the Joker. He's one of the few cars left. Let's see if he can go for it here. I would, and he does. He's taken the Joker. Tanner Faust is going to come out right in front of Ken Block. Let's see if there's contact.
Block had to chuck it sideways. He hit the back of the VW. There's a great big dent in the side of Ken Block's car, but it worked. Great driving from Ken Block. I take my hat off.
Ken Block threw that thing in there with authority and total confidence in his ability. Now it's Arpin all over the bumper of Tanner Faust. Tanner hangs on. In fact, Tanner didn't even come off the throttle. That four-wheel drive Beetle just straightened itself out, and now Tanner's closing on Block.
He's running out of brakes. He had to sling the anchor out the back to try and get the Beetle arrested before he went into the corner. So there is Block in third. Then you've got Faust in fourth. Then you've got Arpin. I remind you that Piquet Jr. is still leading this race ahead of Patrick Sandell, just 0.6 of a second between them. There they are. Sandell glued to the back of the Ford Fiesta as the Beetle gets chucked sideways. Great racing.
So as they run right now, every car on track has taken the Joker. So this is your battle for the podium spot. Battle for third right here, and it doesn't get any better than this. Here's Arpin again trying to turn Tanner Faust. That's a carbon copy of what happened on the previous lap, and surely the officials are going to say at some point that's too much.
Well, now Faust is taking a really tight line into the left-hander to stop the Ford Fiesta of Steve Arpin to come through as they hit the jump once more.
And I think a few races ago, Toby, that Volkswagen Beetle would have broken a toe linkage. They have worked hard, the Andretti and the Volkswagen boys, to strengthen these cars, and so far they are withstanding the pounding that takes place here corner to corner. It's the exact same situation again, 3 laps in a row. Steve Arpin's going to be looking. Now we're on board with Block, and he's closed the gap to, Sandell has closed the gap to PK.
We're riding on board with the Swede. Now, has Patrick Sandell got something up his sleeve, or is there just nothing that he can do with that recently rebuilt from the ground up, from the shell out? The PK car is giving him a bit of a nudge. There's a new engine apparently underneath the hood for PK Jr. here this weekend, and it's staying ahead of Patrick Sandell's car. But here is Ken Block. He's getting closer and closer. In just 1.2 seconds, covering the top 3.
And Sandell's to the outside. He's going to cross over and go inside now. See if he can get a nose up there on the left rear of PK.
2 laps to go when we cross the line. There, and PK Jr. unheaded in this race. That corner, one of the best corners we've seen so far this year. A little bit of oversteer on the way in. PK Jr. didn't want that, did he? The grip is going.
I just have a feeling this is going to shape up to be an incredible final lap. Ken Block keeps catching the first and second place cars, and I think tire degradation is a big deal. PK up ahead, slides wide again. Sandell draws ever closer.
Sandell looking to try and find a way through. Is there a chink in the armour? There's no gap at all in PK's armour. He's driving not only in front looking through the screen, but he's looking in his mirror to try and see where Sandell can make another manoeuvre. Will he be able to get through? No, he can't. He gives him a little bit of a touch. He gets away with it. There's a bit of bodywork, I think, rubbing on the rear left tyre of Nelson Piquet Jr. It's rubbing as he comes through the long right-hander. Will the tyre last one more lap?
Well, for a car that's struggling with tire degradation already, this is not going to help. PK with big damage on the left rear. It's going to smoke all the way down the back straight.
Everybody with the SH RallyCross team are keeping their fingers crossed to hope that PK's car will not grind a puncture from the bodywork.
And Ken Block is in the picture now. They run nose to tail, first, second, and third. Ken Block is right there.
He's still in that 3rd position. They go through the dirt. Ken Block's trying to find a way through the dirt. He's lost a bit of space. 2 more corners to go. PK Jr. leads from start to finish, and he is going to take his very first Red Bull Global RallyCross victory here in Washington, D.C. A flag-to-flag victory for the Brazilian ahead of Patrick Sandell and Ken Block. Just 1.1 seconds covering the top 3 here in a dramatic race. Is the nothing that Nelson Piquet Jr. cannot drive in any form of motorsport.
He was in an Indy car in Sonoma, California on Wednesday, and now he's in victory lane in Washington, D.C.
What a result from Nelson Piquet Jr. The team will be over the moon. Here in Washington, D.C., Nelson Piquet Jr. has taken his very first Global RallyCross victory. The team must be over the moon.
Oh, they've done a terrific job. Team owner James Sullivan also winning an IndyCar twice this year with Sebastian Bourdais. But today it's all about Nelson Piquet Jr. He had the pace, he had the racecraft, no mistakes, and he took it home.
He certainly did, and winning the Formula E Championship in a couple of weeks ago. He drove an IndyCar and a test only a couple of days ago, and these are great scenes as he hugs James Sullivan, who's climbed the fence, the team boss himself. He will be stratospherically high with this. They put so much work into rebuilding the car, putting a new engine in, and they've come out victorious. Nelson Piquet Jr. winning ahead of Patrick Sandell. Ken Block getting his 5th podium out of 7 races so far this year. Steve Arpin, Tanner Faust, Ericsson Speed, Dine Ward, and Joni Veman out from 10th position. So Kristen is down there. She's managed to catch up